Calaroga Shark Media.
Did we not do a roast of Tom Brady last year? Do people really not understand what the roast is? Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I thought today was going to be all about Nate Bargatze and the Breadwinner, but Kevin Hart and people had other ideas. Kevin Hart went on The Breakfast Club and spoke with Charlemagne the God and crew. I have a few clips from Kevin Hart himself. Here he is discussing the joke about George Floyd.
Yeah, the George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience, but our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. This isn't a new, it's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect less. I don't expect more.
I feel like you're saying going too far is the point. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, I mean,
okay.
That's why you're there.
Kevin's response did not go so well on social media. One person said things can be 0% your fault and 100% your responsibility. Another said, wow, yeah, Kevin, you lost me with this one. You could have been honest and said, yes, he went too far with that joke. Kevin said Tony Hinchcliffe arguably had the best set, or one of the best sets. Pete Davidson had a great set, too.
But not even just that joke. I don't like when people joke about violent, tragic death. I liked Pete's set, and then I was like, why you had to say anything about Charlie Kirk?
Pete had a great set, too. Pete had a Charlie Kirk joke in there.
Yeah.
Like, would I tell those jokes? No. But do I get why they're being told? Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, I'm not looking at Pete crazy. I'm not looking at Tony crazy. Like, that's what, I know what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. I know your style of comedy.
Kevin said, whatever the dialogue is, my rebuttal is simplicity. Remove me from it. I didn't say it. If you're upset that the night went on, that's a different conversation. It's nothing I could do. It's a production. Tony Hinchcliffe discussed the roast on Kill Tony. Some edits here for language.
Kevin Hart was something else, huh? It's the first time I've been called a Nazi multiple times in just a few hours. I guess that's what L.A. writers' rooms, all these, a lot of mentally ill liberals out there that somehow with all these blacks and Jews and Mexicans around me, I guess I'm a Nazi somehow. I guess the guy that pulls names out of a bucket, giving everybody an opportunity, is a Nazi. Isn't that something? And I got called a Nazi, gay, a racist over and over again. I'm none of those three things. A little fun fact. But they are they are fat, ugly, black, and Jewish. Everything I said was real about them. Just a reminder.
And Tony doesn't seem none too pleased with Chelsea Handler.
There's news articles, because the news isn't real. Nothing is real. That say that I got lit up by Chelsea Handler, which is very, very funny because that's not what happened at all. You can't believe anything you see or read on the news anymore. You have to actually watch the thing for yourself. She was a bit of a I'll tell you that. She just kept coming at me over. She said I took the Saudi Arabia money. She was like wrong about things. The writers just didn't do her any justice. But then the teleprompter, the fun fact, the teleprompter only went down during my set, and it gave me a lot of opportunity to remind Chelsea Handler what she looks like and where her life is.
Hollywood insider established comedian Nikki Glaser, whose career was made by the Tom Brady roast, weighed in, and you can hear the coolness sucking out of the room for Nikki Glaser, establishment comedian.
I loved watching it. I love anything that's like watching a live comedy event. The stakes are so high. I was glad to be watching it and not doing it because It's just like, it's nerve-wracking, and it's like, it really sends your nervous system through a lot of trauma to do one of those.
Oh, you got a little PTSD watching.
Honestly, I was like so nervous for everyone, but I honestly had a great time, and there was some stuff that I didn't love, and there was other stuff that I thought was great.
They went there.
People have so many opinions about it, and I'm going to keep my opinions to myself and just keep talking about them in my group chats with my other comedian friends about what we think about it, and I'm not going to make it public.
Okay, but tell me who's on that group chat. What other comedians?
Just the funniest people I know in town,
yeah.
I've talked to every comedian about it. Everyone's talking about it. And that's the good thing. Like Netflix did a good job of making something that
everyone's talking about.
And the thing about, like, I don't believe that jokes can't be made that are racist jokes, ironically racist jokes.
Yeah.
The problem is not that it's racist, it's that it's like, sometimes you got to find a way. If you really want to do a joke, you got to find a way to make it make sense. You can't just like say it and it out of nowhere just be like this. I think that's the thing that I feel like. I think that's what people are having a problem with. Is not like the nature of the jokes, because I do love roast how anything can be said and all bets are off. But that's not so easy. You have to make it palatable.
Matt Rife was at the ACM Awards on the red carpet. He was asked, did you watch the Kevin Hart roast? Matt Rife said, I didn't get a chance to see the entire thing, but I mean, my feed is obviously filled with clips from it, and I think everybody on there crushed it, dude. It was brutal, but as a roast should be. The interviewer was like, but some people have complained about parts of it. Matt cut him off and said, shut up, then don't watch it. It's a roast. Everybody there is going to be made fun of. It's supposed to push the boundaries of all forms of comedy for a roast. It's supposed to be mean-spirited, but you don't actually mean it. Everyone there loves each other. Now, our other topic today, Nate Bargatze's The Breadwinner is out. You're probably listening to this while online outside the theater. There's probably lines around the block. People can't get enough of it. Variety has their review, their headline, The Breadwinner Review. Nate Bargatze bumbles through a domestic comedy that thinks incompetent dads are still funny. Spoilers. The film's second act goes a little like this. Nate trips on the stairs while doing laundry. Nate burns the toast during breakfast. Nate crashes the car while distracted during school drop-off. An array of familiar comedy faces clog up the film's periphery, including Colin Jost as Connor, the town's seemingly only other stay-at-home dad, and Kamau Nanjiani, as Peyton, a competing Toyota salesman. Both function essentially as existential fluff. Jost leans on his punchable persona as Connor, while Nanjiani's running joke hangs on Peyton's muscle-bound physique. The big problem with The Breadwinner isn't its sense of humor, but its confused message. The film begins with a division of labor that, however much it resembles a mid-century sitcom, appears to work well for both Nate and Katie, so why, during Nate's inevitable third-act moral of the story speech, does he insist that his month at home has been the best of his life? Meanwhile, I've been sitting on this one until today. The Wall Street Journal wrote about the theme park. Now, before we even get into this, I pulled some clips here. Here's what people on the internet are saying about the theme park idea. At Captain Kathleen wrote, does anybody beside Nate actually want this? That's how I feel about this. Drink Jaderade said, I was okay with it until he named it after himself. Sorry, no. Jennifer Sturger wrote, plays Roller Coaster Tycoon once, ... Chris Ramirez Ford, take some real narcissism to build your own nameland chronicling your life. Let's see what the Journal learned from Nate Bargatze about this. The Journal tells us to help make Nateland happen, the comedian convinces neighbor to be his chief executive. Felix Vertiges was a partner at consulting firm KPMG before Nate poached him. They hired a lobbyist and started wooing wealthy and powerful people around Nashville for support. They contracted with Storyland Studios, a California firm filmed by alums of Disney, Universal Studios, and Legoland to design the park. Nate's team picked a site in the Nashville metro, secured most of the land through an investor, but declined to make the location public before negotiations are complete. Tax incentives have been identified for the project, which has state and local support, according to authorities involved. They'll start raising capital this summer. All right, here's the still evolving design. Are you ready for this? You're not. Visitors would enter through a 1990s-style mall. You heard me. I didn't misspeak. The area, based on Nate's local lore, would include coasters and a donkey dive ride inspired by one of his jokes. The New York section, tell me more, would have street performers, live shows, and a ride through a simulated Times Square with a New Year's Eve ball drop. Something I can tell you, actual New Yorkers hate all of those. You're taking the worst of New York City and making a theme land about it, okay? The third section would have stunt performances and interactive shows. Nate wants to taper down from his arena tours and hopes Nateland will switch up the transaction with audiences coming to him. Mistake. Nate says the win for me will be when people go to Nateland and maybe don't even know who Nate is. Good luck, sir. Mandy Moore is the co-star of, what is this, The Breadwinner? Yes, it's called The Breadwinner. She said, I love this sort of celebration of moms and mom kind of being an entrepreneur and getting this incredibly unique opportunity. And its own way, it's like dad kind of switching roles and recognizing how much mom really does contribute to the house and keeping the ship righted. So I loved all of that. I don't have that exact same experience in my life. I feel like my husband's like a really good partner and a great dad and could pivot and figure out things in a way that I don't worry about the kids or anything like that. Nate said, the movie is a throwback to the classic family comedy movies that we all love. I think there's a lack of entertainment that is made for entire families. There are so few movies where everyone of all ages can have a good laugh, so I decided to create one myself. This is a movie with characters everyone can relate to, and it gives families and friends a great reason to go to a theater for an excellent night out. That's not going to happen, man. People will watch this on streaming because he is popular, and it's mindless stuff you could throw on. You know, hey, wife, what should we watch tonight? All right, let's watch this. Fine. It's one of those things no one will love, but no one will hate. Nate gets that part. He says, you want it to have that Ted Lasso effect, where it's a feel-good story you can go back and watch again. We're never going to watch this movie twice. No, that's not happening. We're going to watch it once on streaming 4 months from now, Nate. The thing I think will help me with movies is now that I've traveled all over the country, I've done these jokes everywhere, I've got a really good feeling to be like, hey, I think this will work because I've done a version of this everywhere. I kind of know what I feel like the country wants. You start realizing everybody's a family, everybody goes through somewhat of the same things. He discussed the difference between acting and stand-up comedy. With stand-up, I very much prepare what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, but you're doing it live. And doing SNL is the same aspects of doing a movie. I love the structure of being like, you got to be here at this time and this time. You have someone telling you where to go. I really enjoyed that. His untitled 2019 TV pilot was not picked up. Nate said it was very frustrating. Steve Martin would always say, you got to be undeniable. That let me go down this path and be a stand-up comedian. I think what happened with the TV show is I talk about my family so much in my comedy, it was probably hard to recreate that. I don't know if that show could have been as funny as what I talk about. I was frustrated during those 8 years, but now in hindsight, maybe they did have a point. Box Office Theory thinks this movie will make about $16 million this weekend. High projection, $23 million.
Comedy stock market.
Thank you, Burt Reynolds. Every week on the comedy stock market, we take a look at the comedians. We try to find some value, much like when you make money on stocks. We try and buy low and sell high. I don't feel too strongly about anything this week. I'm wondering if we should sell Nate. Is this thing going to work? I mean, part of me is scared that like people are going to go out and see this thing, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem cool at all, but maybe I'm a cool elitist New Yorker sitting in a basement in New Jersey. I don't know. Let's sell Nate Bargatze. We got to be bold here. We'll sell Nate Bargatze. Let's buy some Tony Hinchcliffe. I think, to use Nate's word, Tony Hinchcliffe is undeniable. I understand why some people don't get it or choose to hate on Tony, but Tony's just doing his kill Tony thing. He gets up on the roast, he kills, he's got a money-making operation, it sails along just fine. Why not buy some Tony Hinchcliffe? And then two sells, all related to the roast. Chelsea Handler is having just the worst 2 weeks. Chelsea, stop talking. The idea that a joke is worse than rape, I mean, listen to yourself. It's a joke. It might be the worst joke ever told. It might be the most horrible thing ever said by anybody, but it was still a joke. Worse than rape? Sell Chelsea Handler. And let's sell Nikki Glaser. I just feel like all the cool is coming off Nikki Glaser. I think we all get who Nikki Glaser wants to be, Amy Schumer. And she's just going to keep going down that road. And I think she's going to shed some of the people who liked her in the past. And I'm not sure Nikki's got it to pick up new people to replace those that she sheds. All right, so we're going to sell Nate, buy Tony, sell Chelsea, sell Nikki. That is your comedy stock market for today. I'm doing this one live. I haven't looked at this at all. This was an email I got the other day. JFL Montreal sent out some more stuff. Let's see. Ashley Gavin's going to be at Club Soda on the 24th. We have official dates for New Faces of Comedy Stand-Up, July 22nd and 23rd. Yep, as usual, that's a Wednesday and Thursday. So if you're looking for me, I'll probably be in Montreal on the Wednesday night, if not both. New Faces of Comedy Characters on the 23rd. Oh, this is interesting. New Faces of Comedy Stand-Up Encore on the 24th and 25th. Maybe I go to that, and then I can hang around for the free Weird Al show. That might be an interesting way to do things. We've also announced shows from Maddie Kelly, Mark Watson, Janine Haruni, and some local Montreal folks. I'm looking forward to that. I'm just back off to London. I'm still dusting myself off, so I need to plan my life a little bit. Kamau Bell has another podcast. This one is called Who's With Me? Inspired by his Substack of the same name, Kamau Bell's latest podcast features conversations designed to educate and drive change. Bell says, when everywhere we look feels like the powers that be want to push us apart, I wanted to create a space where curiosity and empathy lead the way, and conversation actually moves us forward. In each episode of Who's With Me, Bell will open with a monologue addressing the current cultural and political landscape. He'll then have a guest Guests will include Ted Danson, of course, musician David Diggs, and restaurateur Eddie Wang, okay? Eventually, Maria Bamford and Margaret Cho. Interesting lineup. Sam B's got a new gig for the CBC. She will star in The Ambassador. Sam B plays an actor-turned-diplomat in Bulgaria, working inside an embassy to uncover new business opportunities for Canada. Was Adam Sandler unavailable? Was Kevin James unavailable? Was Nate Bargatze unavailable? That's Sam B in The Ambassador, an actor-turned-diplomat in Bulgaria, working inside an embassy to uncover new business opportunities for Canada. Okay, and that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show on Spotify. You can comment on Spotify about anything you heard here on the program. And I will be back tomorrow. I got a lot more Kevin Hart stuff.